Hey everyone, this is Meyer. Welcome to another episode of Music Died in the 90s.
Hey, this is Amish. Welcome.
We're happy you made it back for episode 2. If you're listening for the second time, if not, then welcome to the show. I'm a guy in my 50s from the Bay Area, and grew up with Amish. And this show is just generally about the same conversation we've been having for like 30 plus years, because we both really got into music, and so we just like talking about it. Obviously the title may be a little controversial, but it's just to kind of share our opinions and hopefully get some of yours going. So on that note, I just want to quickly mention the cocktail that I am enjoying today. This is actually nothing more than Kirkland brand lime hard seltzer, which I find all their hard seltzers a little just bland, so I just add a little lemonade to everything. Works for me. What are you drinking, Amish?
Drink my go-to, Tito's and water, flat water.
Okay. Tito's and water. That's not ranch water, right?
No, just regular flat water. But Tito's,
Okay.
There's something special about Tito's. It's hangover free for me.
All right. So why don't you tell me did you do anything fun this weekend? Did you have any thoughts around what we've been talking about that relates back to music, or I know you're always doing stuff that's kind of in one way or another about music. So is there anything interesting you did?
Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just, I'm working at Home Depot right now, and there's a lot of overhead music going on right now in the
What do they look at Home Depot?
Well, it's consistently been on country, but the manager switched it over. She switched it over to 80s. She switched it over to 80s, and it's mind blowing that watching these younger guys not understand. Like, they know the song, but they don't know who sings it.
They don't know the 80s songs, especially the guys. I don't think. I don't think the guys do as much research.
Like they heard it, like somewhere in the background, probably at Home Depot. But
yeah. Well, for some reason, whenever I talk about this with girls, they know exactly who Wham is as opposed to George Michael. They know exactly who Bananarama is. Like, you ask that to like a lot of guys, they'd be lost.
Yeah.
They'll recognize the song, but they don't research. They don't look into stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing how the grocery stores and the Home Depot have nailed in the 80s music.
Well, so that stuff is actually controlled to some level by someone making a decision about it, like a conscious business decision. And to a certain degree, I think there's stores where someone is actually choosing the music. So maybe your Home Depot, someone is choosing it, but grocery stores, I have to imagine there's a lot of back end services that offer like commercial free and no bad words, like very edited versions of songs.
Yep.
And that's just a service that a lot of these companies just buy, and if they have a lot of retail stores. So I know that's been a business for a long time. I have to imagine there's some online version of that. It's just maybe it's the subscriptions change or whatever. I don't know that much about that business, but it's basically you don't want to hear something crazy when you're shopping with your kid at Old Navy, so they just go the safe route. But now I think you can just, a lot of stores, like, I feel like people are just connecting to their phones or whatever. Someone is getting. Who has the power in your store?
It's not a phone. It's just like the grocery stores. There's like 4 channels they pick from.
Oh, they pick the channel. So 80s is definitely one of those channels, because we're the new boomers.
Country is the other one.
Yeah, we're basically the new boomers. Everything is getting marketed to us because we're the ones doing the actual buying. But we're here to say that it's more because it's probably generically like the most appreciated music, like without any controversy. Although it ended up, some of it becoming controversial. Like, at the time, it just felt like a fantasy time where it seems like watching Leave It to Beaver or something, like, in terms of music. It's just so clean and pure, and everyone was just dancing, and the neon lights and all that stuff.
But I do want to backtrack. Who controls the music at Abercrombie and Fitch? That place is crazy with their music.
So I would imagine they're playing more modern music. I haven't been inside of Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah, well, I haven't
thankfully.
been in one, but when you walk by one, it's blaring music.
Yeah, so it has to be something that is generally appealing again to the buyer, right? So,
Yeah.
and Abercrombie and Fitch already has a brand of controversy, so they purposely sort of over sexualize their content.
Yeah.
It's to appeal to that sort of the cool or sort of whatever kid that imagines
Definitely not.
themselves as.
Definitely not the
Yeah.
50-year-old.
Yeah, so then the music has got to be right in line with that. Which today I don't know what it would be exactly. Maybe something like Latin, like reggaeton or something in that vein. Or
Yeah.
I can't even imagine like house music being played like that. Maybe rap. Rap has kind of turned the corner into that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I think
So,
I'm gonna do my homework and go to the mall this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, used to be we'd save rap for certain demographics, but now it's just you go to
Yeah.
the grocery store and listen to rap.
The clean version. The clean version.
Yeah, the clean version. But it's funny, like even that, I don't know, like, can you say shit? I mean, I feel like you can say shit now, and it's not edited out. So there's certain words that just been like also allowed over time.
Yeah.
And
I think Abercrombie's definitely gonna let that word go, but I don't think
Yeah.
Home Depot is.
yeah. On my end, I got a treat a couple days ago. I went to Amoeba Records, which is a actual record store. Obviously, they sell other stuff, but it's a very well known record store out here in Berkeley. I'm pretty sure they have other locations, but I just remember Amoeba Berkeley being one of the biggest and best record stores. I had been there in a long time, so it was kind of a treat. I think I spent maybe in the range of $100 or $150. I did get a couple of T-shirts as well, including this one I'm wearing from the Ramones. So I think probably got $100 worth of records, and most of the stuff was interesting. A lot of stuff is like new. So what they're doing is they're printing a bunch of records on vinyl, like Sabrina Carpenter and whoever, like new artists have like massive sections, and then some of the older artists have massive sections, like the Beatles, who are like, people are collecting the box set or whatever. And then the other artists kind of fall in between depending on popularity. So because they lumped in today's artists, it's kind of interesting to see that. What do you think of that? What do you think of people like your boy Alex Warren and Sabrina Carpenter having
I think
new
it's great. I mean,
vinyl records?
I don't have a record player, but I
So who are they
understand.
catering to? Who's that for?
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting that, like, so are we like 20 years from now, or is there going to be a store that specializes in CDs now? Or like,
it's funny you bring that up. Half of the store was dedicated to CDs.
Oh, was it?
And there was a
Okay.
lot more people over there. So this is interesting. One of my coworkers had told me a funny story about how, or maybe it was one of my neighbors, told me a story about how his daughter took one of his old record players and into her college dorm with her, and she took a few records, and she sent her dad a picture of her like putting the pin on the record and all that stuff. And when he went to go visit her during like whatever the time the parents go visit their kids, I think it was Arizona, he noticed that the record player wasn't plugged into any speaker or anything. It was just all kind of just there for display, just to show off how cool.
It was the Instagram shot. It was the
It's
Instagram
more of an
shot.
aesthetic. It's more. So I'm trying to tie this back to the point of it all, which is like, I think the irony is like whoever buys a Sabrina Carpenter record probably doesn't have a record player, or if they do, they might not even care about listening to it on record because it's all on Spotify. Why would you even bother? It's got to be for the picture.
What's the point?
It's got to be just
Yeah.
for the picture. It's just the vintage,
okay.
and also like if you have people over, it looks cool in the corner. I think that's what it is. Now my record player over here is actually the same record player me and Amish used to do high school parties with, back like 30 plus years ago. So it's a functioning record player. It's not the Technics that everyone else had. The real DJs had. I was poor and bought some bargain basement record players, but I mixed all my songs. So I was very, very diligent about making sure I mixed all the stuff. And a lot of my records down here are from back then too. So anyway, it was a fun trip to Amoeba.
That's the lost art right there, I think. The mixing the music.
Yeah.
They don't, even when you go to a club or anything now, DJs don't mix music.
Yeah.
I
So
remember you slaving over beats per minute.
yeah,
And
that's what
figuring out what went together and
right, right. That's what every good DJ did. And so,
yeah.
I learned a lot about it from Steve Masters. We talked about him at the open of the first show. One of the reasons I got so into Steve Masters because he used to have this power mix, which is basically like 90 minutes commercial free. And I could still hear the little radio ad that would come through right after the transition, like live 105, whatever.
Yeah,
with Steve Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a heavy influence. So I would come home after school, and in high school, me and my brother were both into it at the same time. So we'd have the whole thing set up on a table in the bedroom, and we just kept. At first, it was this weird like experiment, like how music goes together. So a lot of stuff I was doing with him had to do with putting a electronic or a modern rap beat on top of an old Indian song, and that was kind of the precursor to what actually happened in the '90s with a lot of the electronic bands like Medieval Pundits and. Thievery Corporation was doing that for a long time, but this sort of electronic version of Indian music. That's how I started. Yeah. That parlayed into like me like studying songs and listening for breaks, and then that led to me understanding what two songs go together. It's such a weird art. You're right. It's not like something it's logical. And if you listen to a lot of DJs today, it's not that they don't know how. I think they know how. I think it's the music just bleeds into each other because it's all so similar. If you go to a house party, it's all going to be very similar. But if you go to even a hip hop show, it's not a lot of cause for weirdness in the middle of it. You know, it's not a lot of like you're going to hear it. Like for me, like I remember during my wedding reception, like if you're hearing like a Bhangra song, then you want to go to like 80s song, and then you want to go to like a really popular new song. You want to keep shifting that mood as a DJ.
Yeah.
That would be my. Not necessarily every song, but like 3 or 4 and then go.
Yeah.
So then what are the 3 or 4 that go together? So that's the weird little conversation I would have in my head. That's where me and my brother separated. So I stuck with it. Amish came along. A few of my other friends came along. It was fun when we did parties. But you saw like that was what I was do every day almost for years without those parties. Outside of those parties, and I did it many years before I did the DJing thing. So it was actually just like almost like a weird. And I wish I was part of DJ culture. Like I know I've heard people talk about New York and LA. There's really strong DJ culture where you would be associated with a rapper or some kind of event producer that has constant parties, and you would try to be like getting in on that. That would be so awesome if that happened in the Bay Area, but it did not.
Yeah.
We had this weird bubble of Indian parties, I think, like that kind of came along with all the Indian immigrants in the 80s and 90s and their teenage kids, I guess, at that time.
Well, how you influenced me the most with all of that was it's like you created compilations almost. Like there's 2 total different kinds of music that you put together, and that would just get me excited at those dance parties. Like, and I didn't realize that was actually what created this. I don't know if you've heard of the Ed Sheeran number 6 album. It's all it is he has compilations with other people, all different genres, and I love that. And I didn't realize that's probably because of listening to what you created. So it's kind of pretty interesting stuff.
I still remember the day that my mind was blown that I used to be into this artist called Ofra Haza, which was this Middle Eastern, really interesting sounding thing. She had this one famous song. Actually, if you could look it up and put it in the thing, I mean, that would be great. I would play in a second. She had this one famous song. It was called Im Nin Alu, and it's like an Arabic. I don't know if it's Urdu or Farsi or whatever it is.
How am I going to find that? How do you even spell that?
Ofra, and then Haza.
Oh, there. All right.
And then it's probably her first song, right? Right?
Yeah, most popular. Yeah.
Right. So. That song, dude, I found out many years later. Do you remember Pump Up the Volume from Mars? That heavy electronic, like hip-hop song?
Yep.
Pump up the volume, pump up, dance, dance. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then there's actually a part in there. There's a part in there, in the actual recording, where they're playing Ofra Haza. Now, that fucking blew my mind, because that means there was a DJ from like 5 years before that heard Ofra Haza and was like, that would make a good break. Like, that would make a good weird like sound effect in my middle of my beat.
Yeah.
And I was actually buying Ofra Haza records, which no one had heard of.
Yeah.
It's just weird shit like that, dude. I mean, someone
remember
all this stuff.
Do you remember Single Gun Theory?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put that in there too. That had
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this weird thing. Like I love that the way she was mixing that stuff together.
Oh, you have
But yeah.
Deliver Us. You have Deliver Us in the. Let me get the right one for how's the song.
Oh, is that
Uh,
the right one?
yeah, I'll get it. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So the other and I know you're not in the country, but country the CMT the country
Yeah.
music channel has
Yeah.
this thing this show called Crossroads
Okay.
where they mix a country artist with another artist. So this is like when Taylor Swift was like 16 or whatever when she first
Yep.
started out. She did one with Def Leppard,
Oh, okay.
and it is fantastic. They sing some Taylor Swift songs. She sings some Def Leppard songs.
Oh, I
It's-
see. They're actually singing it. They're not just mixing the sound at post
No,
production.
no, they have a full on concert
Okay.
where they
Okay,
two
got it,
come
got it.
together.
Oh, I see.
Like
Okay.
you know Halsey and Kelsey Ballerini. They did one together. That was a really good one. There's some really cool ones. Crossroads, man.
That's an interesting concept. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I don't think I've heard of that concept because I've heard of that version of it post production, which is like mashups basically. Like when people just do stuff that like a SoundCloud has a lot of mashup stuff going on where artists just takes pre-recorded stuff. But I've
Yeah.
never heard of it doing it live, so that's pretty cool. But that requires a lot of coordination and agreement, legal agreement as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's the song I was talking about.
All right.
He used this entire sample. So this is like the actual version. Then this came out apparently in 1984. Then
Oh, wow, okay.
then they came out with a remix version of this song, and they basically they cashed in on the fact that she was a crossover artist. She had this amazing sound. World music was kind of starting off, so it wasn't unheard of that you would hear an artist that's basically using their music to cater to an American audience with like a little bit of production or whatever. Do you remember Enigma? There was
Yeah.
there was a bunch of other ones where like there was a monk sounds for Enigma, but then there was like tribal. I forgot that band's name, but they made like sort of Native American or African sort of weird sound effects, and that they recorded that into like an electronic song. There's a lot of really cool stuff that happened then, and so this is '84, and there is an Ninalu remix. Let me see if I get this right. That became really popular actually. So it starts off the same way, and if this is hopefully the right one, you'll see
Yeah.
why I fell in, like why I bought this record at Tower Records in Prune Ridge, and this is one of the songs I would want to play at my parties, because any people would be like, "What is that? It sounds vaguely
Yeah.
familiar. I don't know why."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this beat comes in, and this is like,
Oh yeah.
so this is 4 years later, '88.
Yeah.
So the song was like kicking about this weird, it's almost like a chanting song, like almost sounds religious. And then
Yeah.
this,
See, I love that. I love that mix. I love that when they do that.
this some electronic, putting some stuff on it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't like someone took her stuff. I would say it's more like her manager had this in mind as selling her to the American audience. Like probably already was working on getting this done, but it took him 4 years. So obviously this should have been the first single, like not right now on the '84 album.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was a treat. All this time back to the cool time I had going to Amoeba. So let's keep it going. It's one of the things that we just talked about.
Well, I'm gonna circle. I'm just gonna. We're talking about mixing Indian music with popular music.
Yeah.
Punjabi MC and Jay-Z's got to be right up there.
That's
Right
still
up there.
probably the most popular Indian wedding song you're going to hear when the official reception starts.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in there real quick. So.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of current events, have you heard of this new movie they're putting out on Apple? I think it's called Something Up, Something Down. It's a new Spike Lee movie.
Oh yeah,
Have you
with
seen the
Denzel
ad for it?
Washington.
It's Denzel, and you know who the other guy is?
Who's
ASAP
the other
Rocky.
guy? Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So I've been a huge ASAP Rocky fan, and then once he started fucking with Rihanna, it made him even more like weirdly
Yeah.
appealing to me, and so for those of you like newer hip hop heads or people who think you've heard of everything, I think ASAP Rocky gets a little lost because
Yeah.
he came out in a period that was modern, but at the same time, he is.
Oh, Fashion Killer. Have you heard of Fashion Killer?
Yeah, I was just
I
looking for that.
love that song.
This
Yeah.
song this is a song that I've never heard a hip hop artist put together like this. Maybe
Yeah.
Kanye got close, but I
Yeah.
don't think this exists without Kanye. So he took it a little further.
This is This is on my
If you remember this video,
list.
it's him and Rihanna in the video, just them two. They're just
Yeah.
walking around looking at clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a very old song, and this is kind of a foreshadowing of their relationship. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the rap come in for a second because people
Yeah.
probably still don't realize this. We're talking about a rapper.
Swagging to the max. My bitch a fashion killer. She be busy popping tags. She got a lot of Prada.
His bitch is a fashion killer. So that's ASAP Rocky. A little after Lil Wayne, but kind of around the same time as Kanye, but kind of got lost because I don't know. I don't know if it got regionalized. I don't know if music had already started. The wheels of streaming music had already started to affect how hip hop artists. Because now I feel like hip hop artists, there's a whole slew of them that understand the business and are getting popular using videos and other things. So I think A$AP Rocky might have gotten lost. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people like him, but I've heard really, really good things about his acting. So the story's kind of about an old rapper and a new rapper. The movie I was talking about, and A$AP Rocky plays the new rapper, basically.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah. And so a lot of, and I just saw a Spike Lee interview on some TV show, and he was glowing. He was glowing about A$AP Rocky because he was just talking about how, I mean, you're acting, you're basically in a 2-actor play, and you're acting across one of the like probably considered the all-time leading man for African Americans in America, like all time. Like you could put Sidney Poitier up there. But then right after that, I think Denzel comes into the conversation, and so, then it's a huge number of others. But I think Denzel transcends. So this guy going across him is holding his own, and he even said, "Was he nervous? Did he talk about it? Did he ask you for notes?" Like, nope, didn't say nothing. That's some confidence. That's some confidence. I don't care if you're a rapper or not. That's when you're taken out of your element. I'm sure things are not always easy.
So it was your wedding that introduced that song you played.
That was
Fucking
my
Problems.
That's my reception song. That was like I repeated that song. By the way, I made my own playlist for my wedding, and it was just playing without a DJ. And I had every song on there I picked out. So I picked out our entry song. I picked out various mixes of like what we were talking about earlier with the kind of different genres. But then I would keep interjecting. I kept going because I knew where the music was, and I would keep adding it back to the queue.
Yeah.
At that point, I was pretty drunk.
But that song is actually what introduced me to Kendrick Lamar. For me personally.
Yeah.
And that was the best part of the song for me, and I didn't realize. And now Kendrick just blew up. Like I mean,
yeah. So Kendrick was putting his stuff out before that. He was being featured a lot. He was being featured a lot on other artists, and I think it's a typical path for a lot of artists when they're coming out. Their first year or two for their first album. I think his first album is called Mad City. The one that's basically talking about being an alcoholic, like drinks, like that song. That's the song that I got introduced to Kendrick Lamar. That song was out before, so I think if I'm correct on my years, Kendrick Lamar already had a pretty big following. But this is the one, Swimming Pools. Let's see if you recognize this, because if you had heard this, you would have heard this before, I think. I'm gonna
I
compare.
mean, I probably had heard of him before, but
What's this song? This song to me kind of like shot him up. Like
oh yeah, I know this.
this is it. This is where everyone heard of Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like there was already people heard of Kendrick.
Yeah.
And I went to this concert, by the way, in the Warfield.
Oh, did
So-
you? Okay.
Yeah. And this is the first, one of the first concerts I took my my ex-wife to, and she did not enjoy it at all. You know, there was apparently a funny smell in the air. Like,
Yeah.
no matter where we move, that funny smell is going to be following us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, it's funny, but that's like true for all concerts, not necessarily rap concerts, but I think it's maybe a little bit more potent at rap concerts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you
It
can
wasn't
say
at
that.
it wasn't at the Alex Warren concert. I'll tell you that.
I think like a UB40 concert would be there'd be some stuff going on. All right. So let's keep-
But my
let's
boy,
keep moving.
but my boy Alex Warren won Best New Artist.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Told you.
you called it.
He told you he was
called
good.
it. All the leading indicators told you that he was going to do that. Everything on every musical chart.
Well, hey, my own personal preference told me because I went to his concert. I enjoyed it, so I
Okay,
went.
but can you tell me who he was up against?
The only other guy I know is Somber.
By who?
No, the guy's the artist
Oh.
is Somber. You've heard of Somber.
I don't think so.
Pull up one of his best songs. You've got
Wait,
to
shouldn't we play an Alex Warren song since he won?
Sure. We're gonna go back to Ordinary. Ordinary is a good song.
Okay, let's start with that, and then we can look up Sombra's a guy's name.
Yeah. But Alex Warren definitely has the 80s, 90s influence. So
You think so?
he's worked it with. Well, I don't know I don't know if Coldplay's that old, but he's got that Coldplay, Chris Martin type.
He has that
sound.
weird, like, really deep voice. Like, do you remember that really weird band that sang Crash Test Dummies?
Oh yeah,
That crazy deep voice. Like, remember that
Yeah.
guy? That was kind of what they were known for. Other than they
Yeah.
had that one famous song.
Yeah.
But his voice was really, like, really low at the beginning part.
Yeah. That's
Is his
I mean,
voice
as I
always like
mentioned, I love Alex Warren's voice. I don't know.
Yeah. So you said you kind of reminds
So
you
did you-
of Coldplay.
did you
Is that what
watch-
you said?
Yeah. And
And let's get on to a somber song. This is, I guess, his most popular.
I love that. I love when you laugh when the first name that tune.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I can picture the guy at the piano. It's complicated shit, dude.
This guy won something. I don't know what he
This
won.
guy has
but he
more of
won.
a rock sound, to be honest.
Yeah. I think you would love his look. Tall,
He's like
skinny guy.
He's like the Incubus guy.
Yeah.
That guy was just in a concert too, earlier this year. I was over in Boulder, and they were showing. Sometime in July, they were at Red Rock, which is a really famous venue out there. I
We
didn't
gotta
go
go
see-
see a concert there. We gotta go see a concert at Red
Yeah,
Rock.
for sure. All right, so let's see. I kind of do like Sombra a little bit more, but that's more of a sound thing. I think it's not really commenting on his lyrics or anything
That's
like
where
that.
it starts. It starts with the sound.
Yeah, the sound is more appealing to me.
I actually think you'll like him more than Alex Warren personally.
That's good that he was in the running. This is kind of relevant.
He
to the
definitely won something.
Talking
He
about
won
like
something.
about like so this sound doesn't. It's hard to find this sound. I mean, this is, I don't know. This is also like Coldplay, I guess, but it's also like a little bit like a lot of those bands that were in between electronic and rock. All right, did you put a Coldplay song in our thing? You want to compare this to?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I did. I thought you put one in there.
I put. Oh, I did. Here we go. Let's
Yeah.
see. So this is actually calling back to Alex Warren, not to Sombra. So, in case you all youngins haven't heard of Coldplay, I'm sure you have. This is probably a song you haven't heard, though. This song was one of their first hits. Way down on their popularity list now.
This is playing at the grocery stores now.
Yeah, this is considered the old. This is before like Chris Martin went to big sounds.
Yeah.
This is more like a typical. I was trying to describe it earlier, but it's kind of like a shoegazy, kind of like that dream synth rock pop. It's like a very British, like you're smoking. Yeah. It's like you're high, but you don't actually see any British people smoking weed ever. It's just more like they're just high.
Yeah.
If there was a scene in a movie where there's a British person and an American person, they would show the Americans smoking, like inhaling, puffing. It's all very, the British person wouldn't. They would just be high already.
What is your thought on Coldplay? Like, is it,
I like them.
Is it regurgitated 80s stuff, or is it like he's groundbreaking, or is it in between something?
No, I think he crossed over. I think he crossed over just kind of like U2 did. I think they created this amphitheater rock thing because there's a big void in that genre of music, regardless of what happened with rock and rap and everything else. I think there's just always a void for this big band sound. It used to exist more, I think, when there was like Kiss and Metallica and like a lot of harder rock bands. But I think there's always been a void. So when rock sort of changed and become like new wave and more electronic and then broke off into different fragments, and then there's still a heavy metal area, but it really fell off the popularity like charts, like back when you were talking about like Kiss and Metallica, they were like on the top of the charts at the same time.
Yeah.
So now it's like what kind of band can fill a big amphitheater? Really?
I've gone to a Coldplay concert.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They fill that gap. That their sound is sing along, long drawn out.
Exactly.
Like musical numbers, a lot of like slow everything down. Everything is very easy to follow.
Yeah.
And then you just automatically feel like you wish you had a lighter, and you're just you just know all the words to the song magically. It's exactly what U2 I think is trying to fulfill the same way.
But I feel like that's what you don't like about music. Is that that?
It's just it's not what I like and don't like. I like other bands for other reasons than that.
Okay.
What I like is not about what you should like. It's more about like I can relate. I have this puritanical view of what art is, and I feel almost bad for the artist that just did everything just for purely the art. Just not for the money, not for the fame.
Yeah.
And when I hear elements of it that sort of feel overproduced or selling out, just mentally I'm just not gonna like it. And because the sound will also reflect it. So it's hard. It's hard for me to. It's hard for me to say you should like it too. That's not my point. My point is it's just how I feel like when I'm listening to it.
So
like the Sundays. The Sundays were one of my favorite bands. Mediocre in terms of popularity. Like people probably remember, "Here I Come" or whatever that song was, like "Here I Am," and "Wild Horses," which is a cover of Rolling Stone song. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, most people don't know. Sundays is probably washed away, right? And the only reason they probably are sort of relevant is because they can kind of play into the rom-com kind of or love story movies and shows. They have that one popular song that happened when it sort of was about that. So I loved the story. I loved the Cranberries. I loved the story. She was a little girl, auditioned for the rest of the band.
I was just about to say
wrote
Cranberries.
The song "Linger." On her audition, she wrote the song "Linger," and that's how she became part of the band because she was so much younger than them, and they were like, "Who the fuck are you? Why the hell are we?" And that's how that band started. Everything they did since then was not to become the biggest band in the world. So that part affects me. That part as someone who wants to. Again, my opinion is I want to be a puritanical about it. You don't have to be. If you like stuff just for the liking it, that's fine. But I can't help what I like.
So here, the reason I'm bringing up Chris Martin here is because I saw an interview with Chainsmokers because they did a song together, and they went to Chris Martin's house.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how he would just go away, go to the piano, come up with the entire like musical aspect of it, come back, and then they would work on it together for the lyrics. Like that to me is a real artist, but it gets lost in the fact that he produces stuff that's so freaking popular and sounds so like he figured out the equation.
Right, but but see, okay, so I can appreciate everything you said. I won't disagree with anything you said, except for, I think by the time it gets released, the production on it is what I probably feel is like the part, like you just said, he figured out the formula, so what he's just going to do is apply the formula. That part is where the art kind of falls off to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So when I hear Yellow, that was before all of that. That was just, this is how most rock, people write their song on a piano or a guitar. You can hear it. And when I heard this song, I didn't have to hear it many times to know that I love this song.
Yeah.
Like this first time I heard this song, I was like, shit. Then that's the only reason I remember the word Coldplay.
Yeah.
This song. Even though they've done so many more big things, like you said, he figured out the formula. He's still an artist, right? He's still the guy that wrote this. I'm not denying him that. But then, would I fuck with Coldplay? No, because like they don't represent artists to me. That's it. It's just that simple.
Yeah. I totally get that. That I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Once you figure out the formula, then you're going away from. That's where I think Kanye is different. He figured out a formula that works, but then he totally disrupted it, did something completely different, and then turned it over again, did something completely different, and
that's
it's like,
real artists. Because artists get bored. They get bored. Actually, there's a lot of sort of fundamental. This is where it happened to Kurt Cobain. Not to go on a downward spiral here, but people can't handle the popularity.
I got the pun. Downward spiral.
That's tough, man. Like, there's a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of like kids in high school that they don't play sports not because they're not physically talented, but because they don't want all the lights on them. They don't want to. It's just, they makes them nervous. They don't want to speak in front of on stage to give an introduction or a speech at a graduation ceremony here. That's not what everyone wants, man. Like, and so some people who make music, they didn't want 10,000 people in front of them. They didn't want to be interviewed. It makes it embarrassing. It's the kind of shit they used to make fun of. So there's that element. That's what fucking killed Kurt Cobain, honestly.
Yeah.
And his relationship, depending on whatever conspiracy you believe around Courtney Love. But,
So do you have this thing with this like pop artists that don't. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but pop artists who don't write and produce their own music. There's somebody back there creating it, doing it, but they don't want to be the person singing it or
There's a lot of them that became artists themselves. They're just doing it to make a career until they get there.
Okay, I see that, but there's a lot who never.
Oh, of course, yeah. Some of them are just.
But they can, maybe they figured out the formula, or they're just actually creating real shit. Like, I don't know. I mean.
And some of them just want to be in that business, like you said, and they just want to sort of be a factory for hits. That's it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Look, I can appreciate all of that, and no one should, again, take what I'm saying as me lording anything over anyone as right and wrong answer. It's just why I can't fuck with certain music is I'm kind of stuck. Like, it's like if you bought art in your house, if you're lucky and rich enough to buy art, you're going to go out of your way to get the sort of OG version, the real old, like, not the reprint. And not like that. To me, that's what we're talking about. I'm trying to find.
That's the greatest way you can explain it. I can understand it when you say it like that. I'm
not interested if you find it. Like, honestly, like if you don't, I'm going. I've been going. I've been going on that road for forever. Every time I hear something, I mean, it happens every few years. I hear something that just blows my mind. When I heard "N in Paris," that's without them even rapping. When I heard that beat, from Jay-Z and Kanye, and then they put an album out. That feeling I had, like, where it's just them two, like, that's something that, like, indie artists would do weird shit, like, or what was that? There was, like, mashups for a little while, but that was what producers are heavily involved. This is two creators just going at it. And every aspect of it, I'm sure, was over micromanaged by Kanye to a certain degree. So there's a lot of vision going into the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it feels. That's really cool shit, man. That's real art. I really, really appreciate it. And as much as you don't like what he says or what he does, I could give a shit, honestly. It doesn't matter. Because there was a time period where he sounded crazy.
I have a true appreciation for him, like, as an artist. Like,
right, but there was a time period when he sounded crazy, and then they said he was crazy at the time, and then they all caught up to him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he
was an innovator." Yeah, right. All innovators have that.
This is what happens, right? So you get demonized, and then he literally told the whole world he had a mental illness, and he's supposed to be on pills, and he stops taking pills all the time. So now, are we really going to judge what he does and says after that? Like, he literally admitted to the world. I'm like, okay, well, you can keep talking about how weird he is, but I'm sure, some people with mental illnesses are weird, and you don't belabor the point. But that's what we're doing with Kanye right now. Because he definitely is suffering in some way, because he lost somewhere like in a quarter to a third of his empire in those last few moves that he made. Very stupid business moves. So this is not the real... To me, this is not the real him right now. This is him sort of going through a weird loop of illness and, like, bad decisions. And maybe he got to a point where, once he got to $1 billion plus, you're just like, so what if I lose a couple $100 million? Like, I don't know.
I love him more now than ever, personally.
Okay.
But I love all of that.
He's kind of fallen off, not just of cultural favor. That's happened for the last few years. Some of his commentary is very bigoted and to try to get a rise out of people. But you can believe what you want. He shouldn't be allowed to say some of that stuff. And the second thing is
he should be allowed to say whatever he wants to say.
Well, he shouldn't be applauded for saying really racist and negative things. And so there's something going on. I would rather
agree to disagree, but okay.
I would rather us try to take care of him than try to demonize him. That would be my approach.
Okay.
But not just from a cultural standpoint. If you look at the charts, if you look at his last album, was basically like a Christian rock. I mean, it was for the purposes.
Let's change up the playlist from this to Kanye. I feel like we should move on.
If you look at just from a business perspective, you look at his discography and you tell me which one's made the most money, and then you stack rank this one. This is what's happened to his career. It's happening in real time. It's on the down.
Yeah, but people have gotten too personal with, like, once you take any kind of political stance, people.
Yeah,
the art is lost. The art is lost.
I'm not worried about the political. I'm worried about his health, and I think he's affecting his business. And I don't want to see him affected so much.
You look at guys like artists like Van Gogh. There's nobody out there looking at his mental health, right? I mean,
I'm gonna just really quick. I'm gonna say all the albums, right? So the Flashing Lights, I Wonder, Stronger, all that. That's one of his later albums. Let's see. What album is that? Graduation. Okay.
What's the one with the heart? The
Heartless
heart on it. Yeah.
The Heartless.
Yeah.
That's the
like
popular song as well.
Yeah.
And the album's called 808s and Heartbreak. I'm just gonna say, basically, none of these albums on the top 10 have the new album, have a song from the new album.
Okay.
And I could do see more, and I'm just telling you from a business standpoint, he's making much more money to this day from Flashing Lights.
That's fine. I mean.
So I'm not even talking about subjective now. I'm just talking about business.
How long can you be an innovator?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe his time is over. I don't think it was, because what he put out in Christian rock was still very creative. It still had a lot of energy into it. And it sounded actually kind of cool in certain parts. But then I gotta go with but you fucked it up because why'd you go down this weird rabbit hole, and now you're preaching at us, and then you're saying weird shit to the media all the time, just to get attention almost. And so that part of it, as much as Kanye is still one of my top 4, I don't think he's doing himself any favors right now. I think I would rather, if I was, I
actually appreciate that more about him. He doesn't give a fuck.
No, but if I was his friend, I wouldn't be about the money. I would be more about his health. I think he's having some problems. I mean, sorry to sound so fucking 2025, but I think there's some mental health issues there that no one can get, in his inner circle because he's surrounded himself with his inner circle that's probably not there for the right reason. So let's just call a spade a spade. Like that's what's really probably happening.
What was the song that he said he wanted to raise his kids to be Republicans? What was that one? Do you remember that?
No.
God. So they could be loved by white people. I'm gonna next episode.
A lot of shit that he says on his
I'm gonna
song.
pull that up for next episode.
There's a lot of shit that he says in his songs that I think are just like you, like very innovative and very sort of even politically astute in terms of like the impact it could have, right? Because he's trying to goat in some cases, and in some cases he's throwing throwing stuff in their face. So
yeah, this was a long time ago. The what I'm talking about, and next episode I'm gonna bring it up.
But even in his new shit, I think he continues to do that. So in the context of a song, like I'm here for it. But when he's saying shit to the media that's very negative towards one race or another, I now you're like you're making me like not.
You're too sensitive.
I mean, come on. That's you're one of your heroes. Like says some weird shit. It's not like you just could ignore it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to a couple more artists,
on.
right? Let's move on. So one of the you had Alex Warren. So the artist that I kind of want to reference just for this segment, which we're calling "Sound Familiar," is Nation of Language. So the reason I bring Nation of Language up is for this very reason that what Amish said is, I have not heard of these guys, and I think there's a lot of good new music that gets lost. It's just not like super new. They've been around for a few years, but there's a couple other bands. I feel like a lot of my friends are really into 80s music and this sound. But to tell them, hey, there's another band out there that just came out with an album in 2025 and it sounds like this, and you're like,
yeah,
you would be into that, right? You'd be like, I mean, if you're a music lover, you'd be like.
So look, I never heard of this until you told me about it like five minutes ago. Like,
yeah.
Now I'm gonna be listening to them. Like,
right. So this is an example of how music. So one of the reasons we made music, the title "Music Died in the '90s" is not because it doesn't exist, but it's so much harder to find, and so it feels like it's so few and far between. Because it's bad enough if I said there's just less good music out there. What I'm saying is there's the good music is getting suppressed. It's getting suppressed by the weight of mediocrity and algorithms and
you can look at it how you want. I'm gonna look at it like it's not suppressed. There's a lot more out there, and you feel like you need to weed through it, and I feel like it's okay because there's an opportunity for everyone to be able to find, like, somebody's gonna like somebody, but popular stuff or whatever you like or whatever, it is what it is. So
so this is a band that I think most people who may know of Nation Language may not know of. It's a band called Camouflage, and this was one of their biggest hits called The Great Commandment.
Yeah.
I think sounds very similar to the sound that Nation of Language is going for. So just in case there are some people born after the 90s, after the 2000s, who are listening to this, this music existed. This sound that you're listening to at Nation Language, this is a very big part of 80s, 90s new wave electronic sound, heavily influenced by Europe, especially Kraftwerk, bands like that.
Oh yeah, Kraftwerk, yeah. Throwback.
Yeah, they're credited with inventing the synthesizer. So there was another one I wanted to. So that's Camouflage. This is another big song, a little later actually than Camouflage. This is Red Flag Russian Radio. I ain't gonna forward it a little bit because there's a little long of a.
See, only a DJ knows that, by the way.
Still going through one other loop. Okay. So this is the guy's voice. This is the sound. I would say it's a 90s version of very typical. There's a little bit more going on. Sound has slightly different sound to it. You can tell just by the era. It has a little like darkness to it.
Yeah.
Trying to be very clean, very intentional, but also still using a snare, bringing back the snare. Snare keeps it rock and roll. There's all these little elements. I actually saw Red Flag at, do you remember the club, The Edge? It was the only club that allowed 16-year-olds in. Yeah.
Palo Alto.
I saw Red Flag there in concert.
We saw Cause and Effect there.
Yeah, another similar sound. Very similar sound. Yeah, we saw a few. I think Information Society, a few different bands.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna move on to one of your bands. I believe you wanted to talk about Weeknd. Is another one of your favorites.
Yeah, Weeknd. I felt is very influenced by 80s music as well. I mean, come on. I think if you go to a Weeknd concert, you see a lot of 50-year-olds. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very accessible. So the music, to me, the interesting thing about The Weeknd is he's kind of three different things to me. He's Michael Jackson in terms of his voice and his lyrical content.
Right there, yeah. Michael Jackson right there.
Yeah. So I think he really helps fill that gap because there's no one in R&B that's doing that like that. But then the second part is he's an electronic, like, I don't know if you would call him a producer or an artist, whatever, but the sounds are amazing just by himself. So this is what often the rap artists are looking for, is the producers like this to put like really crazy beats to my lyrics and just exponentially grow the potential of the song. So I don't know if he's doing all this stuff himself. From what I've seen, he's the guy that's doing all this music. Right. He's the one that creates it. I'm not sure about it. That's an amazing sound by itself. And then the third element is he's like a very theatrical, like Lady Gaga. Like his concerts and his videos are all over the top. Like there's blood coming out his eyes. I just saw a kid wearing a T-shirt like that, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like it's just because he's so popular, it's just openly accepted. So he's pushing the boundaries of, just like Lady Gaga did, I think, with theater and kind of that operatic style of visuals. I for all those reasons, that long-winded thing, he's a real artist to me.
So you don't okay, yeah, I get that.
So I think his content's good, his music is good, and he's actually trying to. I don't think he just exists just to be the biggest artist ever, to make the most money. I don't think that's what he's doing.
Right now. I mean, eventually.
When it becomes obvious that's what he's doing, when his stuff becomes derivative and it doesn't sound like it should.
Yeah.
Maybe at that point.
But so he's used the 80s Michael Jackson era to become what he is.
But he's made it his own.
But he's made it his own. Now,
this is like Billie Eilish electronic music. I mean, this is.
So the next step is what are you going to create on top of that? To me.
Yeah.
Like, what's the next step? Like, are you going to change something? Are you going to innovate something?
I think he has. I think the merger of the R&B with the electronic is a huge, like, he just created a weird separate genre. Would you call him R&B? Because if you take all the electronics out of all of his songs, right, are these R&B songs or are they actually just pop songs? Because I think they're more R&B because the way he sings.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So this is where I think he's already created it. Like, this is like Missy Elliott changing up rap. This is like he's doing something funky with that original manuscript.
But I don't know. Like, I look at I'm gonna keep going back to Kanye because I think he's really always changing how he creates.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if The Weeknd's gonna change up how he creates, or he's just gonna regurgitate the same.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been long enough. I think he's had like maybe 5 or so, 10 albums maybe, and I don't know yet. I know he has evolved from his first few songs, so it sounds a lot more electronic, sounds a lot more theatrical now. So okay, let's go. Let's move on to the next one, which I had, which is the Idols. So let's see. Where did I put Idols? All right, I'm gonna have to go look for it.
Just give me 1 second.
Well,
So
while
for
you
the-
do that, I want to let everyone know, like, it's pretty interesting how, like, we've been best friends for, 30 years or whatever, but at the same time, you still constantly introduce me to new music. Like,
Well, this is. I mean, if you haven't heard of Idols,
well, whatever you're going to say, I haven't heard of Idols.
this, they have a pretty big following. So Idols to me is a callback to like The Clash,
Yeah.
Public Image
Yeah.
Limited,
Yeah.
but it has this really harsh, really cleaned up. I don't
Like,
know
if
those
you
things go
told
together.
me,
As a
listen
dark-
to this song, I would totally think it's from the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, like maybe almost like Front 242, like a little bit of
Yeah.
industrial
Yeah,
stuff in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But then this is where it goes back to rock. So this is actually one of his newer songs, and this is right now the most popular song. But this is the song that I think is the most famous song. So this is more like the rock that I was referencing. Like I can hear the Clash right here.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's just yelling into the mic.
Yeah, that's
And
a
he can
very
really
front
sing.
front
And he can
for
really
two-
sing. He
for
sings
two.
in other
Yeah.
songs. But he's just doing this.
Yeah. That's so front 242 right there.
What? Yeah.
Front 242.
But this song actually became popular. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
So, I think it was the Grammys last year. The only two newish bands that were nominated, because everything else was a callback to someone like Green Day or someone putting out a new album or something that's been around forever, was the Idols and Fontaine's DC. And there's the only two newish male sort of rock bands I listen to. I have a lot of like more electronic and indie, but this kind of rock is very rare to me to find really good, relevant new stuff. So both Idols and Fontaine's DC. So if you haven't heard of bands like The Clash, let me just play a real quick. You probably have. I would hope that you have. I didn't save it. Okay, I'll keep playing. All right, let's start with Public Image Limited. This is a band from the 90s, and it's not as going to be as harsh sounding with as much of that dark guitar, but if you listen to that, you know, that European, Irish, Scottish, whatever's going on there.
Oh yeah.
That tone.
Yeah.
Like it's singing, but it's yelling. That was his whole thing. And he became really famous because he had a really interesting voice. And then obviously Clash, everyone should know Clash. If you don't know Clash, please look them up. This song is so popular, I'm sure everyone's heard of it. So let's do this one instead.
Yeah.
Like
Another grocery
is-
store song.
Sex Pistols, Clash, they were like really good examples of like pre-punk kind of, you know, started with a sense of like the times. It was one of the worst depressions, 60s, 70s, Margaret Thatcher, blah blah, London, everyone was out of a job, skinheads reborn. This culture's punk, weird kind of rock punk music is what was kind of hitting right before that stuff that we listened to, like the new wave stuff. Right before like New Order came out, it was like this shit.
Yeah.
And so this is what Joy Division was going against, kind of.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of this, man. Just fuck you, fuck everything, fuck all the institutions. It's kind of similar to like right now where you need sort of a weird like, you know, rallying cry, you know, and you get this political movement going, and then suddenly music plays a much bigger role in that effort because it gives people an identity, and then people start dressing the same and all that weird shit.
Yeah.
All right, well that's it. That's kind of some of our newer artists matched up with older artists in a segment that we're going to call Sound Familiar. hopefully, the goal isn't to really, advocate for any artist. It's more to hopefully, if you like one of the ones on the either side of the equation, you're now maybe exposed to something new on the other side. So, anyway, with that said, we're gonna wrap up. Hey, Amish, I know you're off and doing some fun things. You want to tell people what you're up to?
I'm going to my favorite band of all time. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. You should always say top 3. That's a good default. But I'm going to Linkin Park tomorrow night, and I'm super excited. I'll tell you guys if I really like Emily Armstrong to take Chester's spot. So I'll give you my advice on that. I mean, my opinion on that. So
That's cool. I don't have a concert for a couple of weeks, but the artist I'm really looking forward to seeing is Neil Furianya. For those of you who haven't heard, it's kind of like a electronic new wave kind of sound, kind of folksy as well. She's half Jamaican and half Israeli, I believe. Really interesting, brings a lot of interesting. The reason I mention that is she brings some of that weird musical elements from both of those cultures. So I don't know if I think I showed you one of her songs, Misha. I'm not sure. We'll play it next time, but that's the artist I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't even know if I can get someone to go with me, but I'm gonna try. All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We're looking forward to putting more episodes out. So obviously, we're sort of working on our segments, and if you have ideas, feel free to write it in the comments. And then, Amish is going to be figuring out how to work social media so you can communicate with us in another way. All right. See you guys.
bye.